3, 2.
Welcome back to the Jeremiah Show. We have a special guest in studio today, Patrick Braid, who was just an amazing story. And Patrick, who's the owner of Village Cheese and Wine Shop, was a beacon of hope, feeding the firefighters, the first responders, and the residents of Montecito. You guys delivered food. Part of the Bucket Brigade, you fed them, and Abe Powell, and amazing story. You really were there for the community, and I've been wanting to have you back for a while now, Patrick, and you're doing so many more interesting things. You just continue to be this beacon of hope, and tell me about it. Tell me what you're up to these days.
Yeah, I mean, this has become my primary focus now. Whereas before it was a labor of love, as I mentioned, a tribute to my father to continue the Village Cheese and Wine for the community because of the outpouring.
And how many years had
45 years.
45 years.
Yeah, I mean, we're recognized as literally an institution in the community.
Right.
Once again, it was my father who was my inspiration to even do this, because during the tea fire, he stepped up to the plate and wouldn't accept money from anybody until they got back on their feet. So that was my inspiration, and after the Thomas fire, I think what the job that the Montecito Fire Department had done was absolutely miraculous. I was there throughout the whole fire and stood my ground and opened the doors for those firefighters. And if you were there with me, sitting on those rooftops, looking at the whole mountain on fire, it looked like 1,000 homes were going up in flames. So to me, it was a miracle that the Montecito Fire Department literally held their ground and spearheaded the initiative, which only 3 structures had actually burned. So that was such an inspiration to me, to the wine and cheese, that we wanted to have a tribute to the Montecito Fire Department. And from that catastrophe was born the concept or the vision to launch Montecito-centric brands that are inspired from that fire department. So, the concept was to take Montecito Coffee Company, Montecito Wine Company, Montecito Brewing Company, and to use that as a real as you say, beacon of hope. Mm-hmm. Our logo is actually inspired from across the street from our shop, the historic Montecito Fire Department that's been there since 1917. And if you go there today, you will see a beautiful lantern. So I invite you to go to our website and look at the logo,
which is Montecito Coffee
Co.com. Correct. You'll see the lantern. You'll see a flame that represents the Thomas Fire, and then you'll see a heart that represents recovery.
Which is so important to have you in again and to follow up, even with Abe, who's done so much with the San Barbara Bucket Brigade. But there are so many things that happen in everybody's daily life, and this is still, in this community, it really affected this community and still continues to affect so many people. And it's just great to have you back because it doesn't go away, and to talk about what's ongoing, what you're continuing to do to offer help and hope. So it's so great to hear what you're doing. And tell me about the coffee company and what your plan is there as far as donating and to the firefighters and to the first responders and the community.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you. Yeah, so the vision was inspired from the Thomas Fire. Obviously, no one really expected the catastrophe on the 1-9 debris flow. And as I mentioned to you before, with the captain of the CHP, Abe Powell, Dawes Williams, Santa Barbara City Supervisor, Jeffrey Barbaco, the Superintendent of Montecito Union, Anthony Ranney, we all kind of banded together and created what's called the Montecito Village Recovery Fund. And its purpose is to make sure that any giving is from the community to the community. I had the inspiration, the epiphany to focus on leveraging brands, and the inspiration actually comes from Patagonia and companies like Firehouse Subs, where they commit 1 to 1.2% of their gross revenues to a nonprofit that helps various things. And so we're taking this kind of as a model and leveraging that so that people understand that, hey, it's not just coffee, it's coffee for a cause.
Mm-hmm.
It's a percentage of the gross revenues that ultimately will go back to the community. Our thought process is to, identify as a nonprofit which are the key organizations that are really making a difference where a majority of the capital is going to that community. So we'll have various buckets, at least here in Montecito, such as the Bucket Brigade and the amazing job that they're doing. We're being honored by the food bank.
But go there and go to Montecito Coffee and Company and promote and help the community.
Well, our mission statement and our slogan is Bruce it, yeah.
Jeremiah Show, we're talking with Patrick Braid. He is the owner of the Montecito Coffee Company and Village Wine and Cheese Shop. Patrick, you've committed an amazing amount of hours and time, and admired you.
Well, having experienced this firsthand, trugging through the mud as an example, on the 19-degree flow, Nita Wayside, and seeing the magnitudes taken in such a catastrophic event, it makes you, it gives you purpose. It's not just about you, and it's not, it's about making a big difference. So I would say that the biggest inspiration is amazing role models like Captain CHP, Dawes Williams, Bucket Brigade, APAL, and the commitment and effort that they all put, the first responders, the Montecito Fire Department. I mean, this is what drives you, right? This is a wake-up call. And, when events like this happen, Amanda is known for their mettle and how they stepped up to the plate.
And everybody will have a great week out there, and check out the Patrick Braid's podcast on the JeremiahShow.com, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio. You can find it everywhere.